It's time to spill the tea.
Hello!
You there, and welcome to A Spoonful of Theatre.
And this is another one of our Spill the Tea Theatre Review podcasts, where we review a piece of theatre in Singapore right outside the theatre foyer. I'm TJ, theatre practitioner and director.
And I'm Sam, a teacher of language, literature, and self-proclaimed show business lover.
Now, Sam, what did we just watch?
Well, we are currently outside the Sands Theatre because we have just watched, produced by Base Entertainment Asia, Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes.
Now then, before we go into our review, TJ, there's a couple of things that we need to cover. One, I have a confession to make.
Oh, okay. Wait, that's very apt for a Jesus Christ Superstar, a confession.
Very true. I have never seen an Andrew Lloyd Webber production before.
Like, never?
Nothing.
Like, what, like Phantom?
Phantom, no.
Cats?
Cats, no.
What?
Nothing. I've never, ever seen any Andrew Lloyd Webber theatre or movie.
Wait, you've never watched the movies?
No, never. I mean, Cats, why would I? But anyway, yeah, so there's my confession there. So this is actually my entry point into Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so
Okay.
that will coat my sort of opinion tonight. But also, ladies and gentlemen, there's another thing that we need to mention tonight. So Jesus Christ Superstar coming into Singapore has been a little bit contentious due to the sensitivities around religion here in Singapore. But IMDA made it clear that Jesus Christ Superstar has a long production history. The movie back in the 70s was released in Singapore. And the production company has made it clear that this is not meant to be seen as a biblically accurate portrayal of the story of Jesus Christ. So we're just going to preface it there because our review tonight is more going to be about the storytelling and the production itself. Isn't that right, TJ?
Absolutely.
So, TJ, how would you describe this show?
Oh, dear. If you're in the market to watch a rock concert at a Zumba class, this is the concert and the musical for you.
Oh my, so right, that you're going straight into first thoughts there.
Absolutely.
So I'm sensing a bit of disappointment here.
It's interesting because honestly, there were some phenomenal performances tonight.
I quite agree.
And actually, my big gripes are not with the performers, not necessarily with the staging either. It's the original material.
Oh, right.
My big gripe is actually with the show Jesus Christ Superstar as a whole. The clarity of it, the why. Why did I just sit through those 2 hours? I don't think I can answer that question. And I honestly just had a very frustrating night in the theatre, and it's annoying because I will preface right now, it was not the lead performers and it was not some of the staging. It really, everything that frustrates me boils down to the source material itself.
I can see why you say that because I went in with no expectations at all. I didn't do any research for that, and I did it deliberately because, as I say, this was my first Lloyd Webber, so I wanted to go in with no sort of expectations. And I thought, right, okay, we're going to a rock concert. Oh, wait, no, wait a minute, we're going into musical theatre. Oh, no, we're back in rock concert. No, we're back in musical theatre. And it felt like this ping pong of incoherence in genre. And that became very jarring for me. So I absolutely see why you say source material.
Now, speaking of first, I have to admit that this is my first time watching Jesus Christ Superstar.
Right.
I've never watched the movie, I've never watched the show. So for me, this is my entry point, and all I know from it is various songs that have been covered when I've been training and people singing them at open mic, and my kind of passing relationship with the show. So for me, I am watching this for the first time as well. Now, I think it's important to preface as well, this is not the original staging.
No.
And it is an adaptation of it. So the tour that has come to Singapore was originally produced in Regent's Park Open Air Theatre
Yes.
right back in 2016. So this version has really been going for a long time and has now gone on tour. From what I can gather, the main differences with this kind of artistic interpretation is it was really leaning into the rock concert element.
Yes.
And to be honest, there lies some of the things I really enjoyed. I did kind of enjoy the rock concert aspect. I thought there were moments that it distracted, and I thought there were moments that the rock concert really took us away from the crux of the storytelling. We were so focused on the microphones and the showmanship that I lost what you were saying. I think the clarity of storytelling because of the rock concert both engaged me and disengaged me at times. One quick moment that I want to mention where it really disengaged me was Gethsemane, which was Jesus Christ's big solo. And where that ended was amazing, but where it started was him singing on a guitar. And because he was on the guitar, we lost all the physicality and all the physical emotions for like the first good minute and a half, 2 minutes of the song. And that is a beautiful song that builds and grows. But because I didn't buy into the beginning, where he went at the end, I feel like we lost that journey because he had this guitar in his hand.
Yes, I completely agree with you there, because that was a soliloquy in a literary sense. That was a massive soliloquy where JC was pouring out his thoughts and having conversations with himself and with God. And there was a couple of moments where the tempo changes, but he was still stationary. And in my head, I thought, you know, when you're pacing around, when you're having a discussion with yourself, you pace around. It felt like it needed to be more like that.
And the clip, I've seen that song many times on videos and I've seen it perform many times, and it isn't staged like that most of the time. Kind of when it ended was really very much how it's normally presented. He's on the floor and he's emotional and he's really physical, but that guitar really locked him. And there was other moments where I think that did lock people. I actually want to now address why I don't like the musical as a form before we get into anything else, because I think for me it just tarnished whatever else I'm about to say.
Sure.
When you write a musical, it is telling a story through song. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a rock opera. And the show I'm going to compare it to that everybody will relate to is Rent.
Right.
Rent is another extremely successful rock opera. The storytelling in Rent versus the storytelling in Jesus Christ Superstar is absolute night and day.
Right.
Obviously, Jesus Christ Superstar is a bit more stylized, but when you write a song, generally, so the audience understand what we're saying, you have to write the song in a place where people would naturally speak. So if I was going to go higher in my voice, the notes would go to that note. But at no point am I going to go up here while I'm talking to you about day-to-day conversations. And that is where Jesus Christ Superstar is extremely distracting in terms of its storytelling, because in the middle of a random sentence, a random conversation that's just day-to-day stuff, suddenly someone goes up here!
Yeah.
Like, for no reason. And it just takes you away from the story they're trying to tell. Yes, they sang the notes beautifully, but the storytelling is convoluted and it is really hard to connect with the characters, because also those high notes happen over and over and over again. If you love people singing a high note, this is the show for you. But there are so many of them that it drags you out of it and you get bored of them by the end of the show, or I certainly did.
I have to agree with you there. I had to because it is telling the story through song from start to finish. I had to really, really concentrate because, again, I'm not familiar with the source material. And there were moments that I was like, who are you? What character are you? There was, occasionally there was not, oh, I'm talking to you, insert name here. And yeah, there were times where I got confused. Where Rent gets it right is there is variety, and the rock comes when people's emotions are going higher. In this show,
the emotions are just either always high or the emotion doesn't match what they're trying to say. Like it's the stakes are too high for actually where they're speaking, what they're speaking about. So Rent really works because of that, because there's light and shade. And this one, it just feels like we're constantly up here and you're getting bashed over the head with belting.
So let's move into the performance now. So what, despite these issues with the storytelling, how about the performances from the actors themselves this evening?
I must say, this is where this production shines with its lead vocals.
Oh, yes.
All of the international leads deserve their place on that stage. Stunning rock vocals from every single one of them. I'm sure that you will agree. The highlight is Judas.
Yes. Entirely.
Absolutely incredible.
Yes, Javen King, my God, man. The power, the finesse, the control, the emotion in that voice. Despite what we've just said about the way the musical tells a story, his performances really, really told a story. And I was hooked any moment he was on the stage. There was such power, but such control and finesse as well. And this leads me onto a question. So the leads, this is a belter's dream. Like there's belt after belt after belt. How in blazes do performers do that 8 shows a week?
Technique, darling.
Yeah.
Technique. No, this is a show for true rock singers.
Right.
And this is why no one person can, like in musical theatre, if you want to, you can't go to every show. Not everyone is going to have a voice for Jesus Christ Superstar. If you're going to get cast in Sound of Music, you're probably not going to be someone that gets cast in Jesus Christ Superstar. You're going to have a completely vocal timbre. You're going to have and if you are potentially ensemble, you might be able to be in one or the other. But as a true lead, it's very much about your vocal setup, and very few people could kind of go between all of these at a professional level to such an extent. So I feel like Jesus Christ Superstar is your We Will Rock You singers.
Yes,
It's your, it's got to be kind of in that world.
Yes.
And yeah, they're vocal athletes. But that, I think here lies another little gripe that I have.
Go on.
Because I do feel that quite often, yes, I'm absolutely incredible. Singing high notes, brilliant. But there is often a sense from audiences that if somebody sings a high note, they're an amazing singer. And just because they sing the highest note possible, and in this show, they sing higher notes than we probably heard on this stage in a long, long time. But that does not automatically mean, as a singer, that they are better than someone who sings down in a lower range with a different vocal timbre in a different vocal style. It's impressive to hear that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are it completely leagues apart and completely different to other people.
Now, something interesting about this production is that despite it being a touring production, they have actually cast local actors, or actresses, I should say, to join the cast. And who are they, TJ?
We have got Frances Lee and Tabitha Nauser. Now, those are two fantastic local performers who I think Tabitha is much more in the music scene here in Singapore. And Frances, I've had the fortune to work with many times in local Singapore musicals. Yeah, so they are playing the role of Mary Magdalene.
Yes, and tonight we saw Frances, which I was really grateful for one reason. Anytime Frances came on as Mary, it brought everything down. We've had a lot of chaos, and the stage has been very busy with the choreography and as you say, the belting and the power. And when Mary came on, it calmed everything down, which I was really grateful for, because, as we said, it's singing from start till finish. And as we know, sometimes you just need those moments for the audience to breathe and take it in and get ready for the next bit of chaos. So I really appreciated Frances tonight, because it just calmed things down for me when I needed it.
For me, honestly, I felt Frances was a little bit under tonight. Being truly honest. It didn't quite hit that character. That song that she sings, I Don't Know How to Love Him, is one of the most famous female solos in all of musical theatre, musical theatredom, and just didn't quite get those upper notes today in the song. And I just felt there could have been a bit more of a punch. I think it is her first night on, so I hope she kind of finds that confidence as she goes through.
Right.
But when you are alongside true rock singers,
Yes,
I felt like there was a bit of a juxtaposition there. But I'm really glad to see her up on that stage, and I just hope that she kind of finds her feet with this role a little bit more and brings a bit more punch to it.
Now, there was a really, really surprising moment that I really, really loved because it came out of nowhere. Now, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, I do love comedy parts. I do love very bombastic and very frivolous parts. And for me tonight, Herod, that came out of nowhere. And I really, really enjoyed that performance. There was just hilarity. Do you know who it reminded me of? It reminded me a bit of the MC in Cabaret.
That's my note that I wrote down. I agree completely.
I really, really enjoyed it. So to Eric W. Schleck, thank you. That was a really, really wonderful performance. I really, really enjoyed it.
I think for me that balanced it out a little bit, and I wish within the show there was more songs like that, because I think it would really help the pacing of the show.
Yes.
So I wish there was those kind of lighter moments a little bit more throughout the production.
Now, let's go on to the production itself, the staging, the lighting, the aesthetics. Any standout things for you there?
Again, that rock concert, the kind of visuals kind of told a story through the lighting, the sets, the costumes, and you really believe that world. So I think it was a very artistic vision of the show that I really enjoyed watching. I think for me, out of all of the creative aspects, was the choreography.
Yes.
Because the dancers were really there to tell a story throughout the whole show. And it was interesting choreography. I joked about it at the beginning, being a bit of a Zumba class, because there was a lot of repetitive choreography, and that's the style. And moments it really, really did work to tell the story. But I did also feel that, like a typical musical, it would help tell the story in a theatrical sense. That wasn't the aim of this production, so I bought into it. And the dancers were fantastic, but I did think that the choreography at times was very repetitive, and it was the choice that the creative team made.
Okay, yeah, fine. I thought there was a lot of synchronicity in the aesthetics tonight. The staging, I loved. It was very, very urban. I thought that was also reflected in costume. The costume was very rock star, very urban. It made me think of, you know, when you have a cast and they're in for rehearsal and they wear very loose clothing that they can dance about in, and it felt very much like that. And I felt the choreography was also very modern, very urban. I see what you mean, that it did get repetitive at times, like some of the moves were the same, it was just had an addition of a prop.
Yeah.
I do see that, but I also thought that the dancers were incredibly in sync with each other. There was such flow in movement, and it gave the stage volume. Like, it made it more dynamic. It made it a little bit more epic because, you know, there was a big troupe of dancers there, but just them all moving in sync, it gave it volume, and I really, really appreciated that.
One thing that was not in sync tonight was the ensemble singing.
Oh dear.
Many shows use what we call sweeteners or click tracks to boost songs in high energy dance numbers. It is common across musical theatre. Now, I bet many of our audience are thinking, that's cheating. How dare they pre-record? They're supposed to sing, dance and act live. I promise you that in a good example, something like You Can't Stop the Beat in Hairspray, if you can do that number and sing and dance at full pelt without sounding out of breath,
yes,
you are an absolute kind of legend. Like things like Legally Blonde, there will have been moments like that.
Yes.
In those shows. So sweeteners are an absolute part of musical theatre, and the point is that the audience shouldn't know they are there.
Right.
That is the point. So
Yes,
what happens is they hit that point in the show and it's kind of playing underneath and the band play with it. Tonight, they were out of sync so many times in the ensemble, and they were not leveled. Because one of the hardest things is when you've got pre-recorded singing, leveling that with the energy of the live singing on top. And tonight we heard such a jar in the sound design between the pre-recorded and the live, and it really also did a disservice to the amazing work that was happening from the leads. So I don't know what the problem was. I don't know whether it was the quality of the pre-records, it was how the band was syncing with it, but it really did not gel tonight.
I quite agree. When it was ensemble and band, they seemed in competition with each other. They really, really did seem in competition. And again, like we said earlier, sometimes it meant that we were not able to understand the storytelling in the words because they just felt in competition with each other. Now, fans, you've commented a lot in our previous our previous reviews when we've gone to this theatre that sound is notoriously a problem in this theatre. Tonight, even more so, it was loud. It was very, very loud. A couple behind us even went rows and rows back because it was loud in between the intermission. Just a note there is not something that can be... I don't know how to solve.
It's usually the opposite problem. It's usually not loud enough and the sound's not feeling. So it's the exact opposite problem. However, I think this was a choice because it was a rock concert. And at a rock concert, it is loud. So for me, I kind of bought into it. But then I think I was like, first hour, I was fine. But then after I'd been beaten round the head with the sounds and the belting for an hour and a half, I was done with it. I was really done with it.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, as you know by now, when TJ and I go and see a piece of theatre, we always give it a rating out of 5 spoonfuls, but we never reveal how many spoonfuls we are going to give until that moment has come, and that moment is now. So, TJ, are you ready?
Ready.
So, for Jesus Christ Superstar here at the Sands Theatre, 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, we are different tonight. Right, why a 2 for you, TJ?
I can't get past the show itself. Actually, in terms of the lead performers, right up there, 4 and 5 spoonfuls. Can't really phenomenal performances. But as a whole, as a show, I came out frustrated, not quite getting what I've seen, and ultimately, you've got to package everything together in the theatre how you feel as an audience member. So, yeah, for me tonight, it was that too.
Yeah. I have been thoroughly entertained this evening. I did enjoy the show. Did I love the show? No. It's not going to be up there with my favourites. But I'm now grateful that I've seen an Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm now grateful that I've seen Jesus Christ Superstar. Again, complete agreement with you. The performances tonight were phenomenal, especially Javen King as Judas. You were absolutely wonderful. So yeah, I've enjoyed myself, had a great time, but not my favourite.
Now then, Jesus Christ Superstar plays here at the Sands Theatre at Marina Bay Sands. You can get your tickets on Klook, Sistic and Marina Bay Sands website.
Right, my tea's on cold love. Shall we leave it there? So let's cheerio from us. We'll be back soon.
And it's hurrah from me.
And to the cast and crew of Jesus Christ Superstar.
And to anybody performing in Singapore Theatre,
break a leg.